Basement Politics with Freddy Vazquez. Tonight, special guest, Westchester County Legislator for District 15 elect, James Nolan. One more time. A little bit louder. Good evening. How you doing, James?
How's it going, man? I'm good.
It's going good. I can't complain. I'm glad to have you back on. I believe this is the third time that you're on the show, but this time is different. This time you are the winner of the recent election that happened earlier this week. So you are the Westchester County Legislator elect for District 15. Round of applause again.
Thank you.
There we go. Well deserved. You worked hard.
Thank you.
I mentioned that in the past podcasts that I've had you on. And I ran into someone today rushing into the store. Ali, he wanted me to say, tell you, he said hello. He worked on your campaign as well. Yeah, Ali. So he said, tell him I said hello. I said he's going to come on the show tonight. And he said he's well-deserved. He's a hardworking guy, And he mentioned one thing to me that I didn't know. He said that you initially weren't considering politics. And that was something that just kind of happened. Your primary focus was your foundation. The Michael Nolan Foundation. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, my foundation is in memory of my brother, the Michael Nolan Foundation. I started back in 2016 in memory after he passed away. He was an innocent bystander killed in a drive-by shooting at Burger King. He left a big legacy, and I just wanted to make him proud. We did a lot, providing scholarships and different essential needs like toy drives, food drives, blanket drives, whatever we could. And, just helping out. There's plenty of times I'm getting calls like at work that, there's a senior with no groceries. So what do I do when I leave work? After work is done, I go and buy groceries for them, or I pick up their prescription. There's different things like, there's plenty of foundations around that we've made donations to help them succeed. I've helped been a part of putting together all the foundations, providing a pathway for them because I knew when I started it wasn't easy. I didn't have, you got to do this, you got to do that. I had to figure out myself. So I wanted to make it easier for people to, start foundations and nonprofits. And I've been a vocal advocate. I've used it as a stepping stone to get laws passed to, help protect people. And it's been very good. I wanted to do good in his memory, and I wanted to do good for the others. Like I said, on the day that the last day he was in the hospital, I said to him, I'm going to make a promise to him that I'm going to keep his memory alive and make it a better place. And that's a promise I will make. I won't break.
And you've kept that promise so far. It was a natural progression, it seems. You were out in the community, you started the Michael Nolan Foundation, and, as you got calls, as you started to help other people, the seniors, and other people who needed your help or wanted you to get involved in whatever issue they were facing, you just kind of said, you know what, maybe this is something I have to, I can do, and I want to do more professionally. And is that why you kind of decided to throw your hat in the ring when you're into the race?
Especially after the last year of the pandemic, I was out there every single day, not only as essential worker, but I was an activist and a community leader. And I was very happy. I was very proud of it, but I seen that the community needed a voice. There was many elected officials and community leaders that were missing. And then you had the ones that were out there. Like the one way I separated, and someone broke it down to me, and I like the logic, is, there are special people that are in this, not because they like the politics. It's because you like public servant. It's two separate things. People try to intertwine them. I'm about the public service. I like helping people no matter what it is or who it is. There's times where I'm going to help people and they're not in my district, just because I want to help people. I'm doing it now. And it feels good. Like I said, last year, I really seen in myself that, it was time for a change. It was time for somebody that has a blue collar worker background, there's just somebody that was trying to do good, that was in the community, that was, just trying to give everybody a voice. You're never going to make everybody happy, but if you can give the ones a voice that have been missing for a while, then it's worth it. And that's, how I got to this point.
Absolutely. And do you believe that having the blue collar background helps you, makes you more relatable? Does that, make it for a better elected official, someone who can relate and understand a little bit more of the people? Would you say that's maybe true?
Oh, definitely. Like my father-in-law has told me before, and I think about it, the best type of boss is a boss that worked on every level. It's something that I'm proud of. That's how I see it. Because there's times we're gonna show up to things in suits, and there's gonna be times I show up to something in work pants and boots. And you know what? I have no problem going to an event and going to the DPW or the fireman, the cop worker first before I go to the other elected officials, just because I know them.
Right.
I know what they're going through. I know what they're feeling. I know their worries, their struggles. I see them on a day to day, so I will go relate to them and go to them first because I will actually go to them and say, "Hey guys, how's it going? What do you need or what could I do to make your job easier?"
Right.
And that's what
And
it's about. I actually had a police officer tell me that the other day. He said, "In all my years of doing this, all the elected officials I met, you were the first one that asked me what would it take to make my job easier and safer."
wow,
And I
really?
said, "That's what it's about."
So that connection, that ability to relate, definitely it seems like it's going to give you some kind of an advantage a little bit, I guess, or help you be that much more of a better elected official and truly understand the needs. And I get it. Sometimes I have these conversations with people and I feel like some of the elected officials maybe have a disconnect between the
Yeah.
people and themselves. And I respect that. And I agree with your father-in-law. As I tell some of the employees that I have, you want to be a boss. People want to be at the top. They want to be
Yeah.
they want to start at the very top, but they have to understand what it takes to get there and learn every position. And I always said I've done everything from clean urinals and toilets and stuff, but learned every
No
step of the
problem with
way.
that. You got to learn it on the way up.
Absolutely. And I still get in there sometimes when guys call out. I have to do it anyway. But I want to ask you, how was Wednesday night, the night after the election, when you found out? Well, you didn't officially know that you won, but you pretty much
Oh,
had a
Tuesday
good
night.
idea. I'm sorry?
Tuesday night.
Tuesday night. Well, yeah. Well, Wednesday, the next day after the
Yeah.
election night, you had a
It
better idea. How did that feel? How did you feel waking up that day?
honestly, it was like any other day because it really didn't settle in yet. Like for 10 months, a year almost, I focused every single bit of myself every single day into this. So you have that thought like, okay, I won, but then it's just like doesn't really dawn on you. So it's just like my phone was nonstop, but it's like I'm used to walking every single day. Now I got to the
Right.
point I was asking, okay, well, what do I do now? Like, what do I do now? Like, I didn't know what to do myself. I was telling my wife, like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm used to being out there. I was getting ready to go walk, and it's like I got to remind myself, like, okay, well, now that part is done.
Right.
You could channel that energy into, okay, well, I won. Let's start doing this now. Let's not take any days off because that's not what it's about. Let's start hitting the pavement, and it's just been ever since. And I love every bit of it right now. I love the learning experience that I'm currently going through.
Well, you definitely earned some rest. So, it's okay
Thank
for
you.
to take a few days or maybe even a week just to kind of relax. But definitely, it's going to be a lot of work,
Yeah.
especially to represent the people well, to do the best job in as a county legislator. It's going to take a lot of work. What are some of the things you're already thinking about working on as soon as you sit down in that office on day one?
Well, I've read the comments on Facebook. Well, he doesn't have a plan, and he really doesn't talk about anything he wants to address, and he doesn't know what he's doing. The simple fact is, any good person that wants to do good is not going to expose their hand like a poker hand right up front. They're going to hold it.
Right.
Now, not only are we going to the budget meetings, and I have a bunch of questions and things I want to address and talk about. I have things that I want to address. I want to present things that I've come across. Now, instead of just sitting in the budget meetings, I've actually taken the time to go to these departments and see firsthand. Okay, well, you just tell me this on a PowerPoint. Well, I'm going to make sure I go there and
Right.
I ask these questions. I see what you're dealing with, and
Absolutely.
I see what you have. I'm going to be boots on the ground. So I want to deal with first and foremost the rising crime. We have a rising crime that is out of control, and honestly, that comes from Albany. But now I have a big voice from down in Westchester where they're going to hear me. And I'm going to make sure I could do what I can, however I can, to make sure that they hear me down here. And I'm powerful down here to help protect our residents. Second is infrastructure. That's everybody's talking point. Everybody's, I want to address infrastructure.
Right.
But they don't know what they're talking about because it's just a bullet point for that. Me, I'm worked labor my whole life. I worked on construction sites. I grew up in a union family. I grew up on a job site. So I've dealt with this. Like there's a number of needs. Like the Bronx River is always a talking point for everybody. Or the Bronx River floods.
Yeah.
But they never go out and do anything about it. I want to address that. We got a big infrastructure deal, amount of money. We actually got the most amount of money out of the entire country. I want to make sure that I put that up and say, you know what? We have the money now. Let's put that money towards fixing the Bronx River and actually doing what is needed for the residents so they're not flooded out anymore. Not only that, Ira washed out a bridge in Bronxville. So we got to replace that bridge. That bridge is essential to Bronxville, Yonkers, Eastchester. We got to fix that bridge. That bridge has to go back. Then there's many county roads. But we could do partnerships with the cities. I want to make sure that we start to repave a lot of roads, fix the underpasses, fix some high, these are things that I want to address because I know firsthand what it's like to pour cement. I've done it for a living. So it's important. Then we also have a lot of programs for seniors and children that we could bring up. These are things that are essential because everybody loves children and everybody loves seniors. But we got to, we got to do better for them than just love them. We got to take care of them. We got to provide for them. We need to do what's right for them. And you know what? Children, they depend on us and so do seniors. Let's do what's right for them. Those are things, especially the homeless situation.
Yes, absolutely.
Homeless situation is a big problem. And let's be honest, they point fingers every step of the way. It's their fault. It's their fault. It's a county issue. There's a lot of nonprofits that are stepping up to the plate, doing what they can. There are for some facilities in Westchester County. That's great. But you know what? Unfortunately, New York City has dumped this off on us more and more. Now we know what? These are our people now. We need to help them. We have a mental illness crisis that is going on. They can no longer be addressed. We need to help these people. These are things that we need to address, especially affordability. Indian Point is going to cause a big problem for us soon because Indian Point being shut down has caused a rolling amount of burnouts in our area. Actually, do you know that Indian Point could actually generate all the MTA system?
No, I didn't know that. No.
Yonkers lost a huge amount of power. That's why we keep getting brownouts. They had no backup plan. And also, Crowan and Peekskill and all those areas lost funding. Eventually, even though property taxes didn't go up this year, it's going to go up again. And I am not for raising taxes. I will hold the line, fight like a dog to make sure that taxes are not rising up and up and up, because we need to make sure we keep people here.
Right.
I'm all for it now.
And like you mentioned, some of the things that you've said there, other elected officials have used as talking points, but they have not actually put anything into action. How do you plan on putting that into action? And do you expect to get some resistance from some of the people you will have to work with, some of the other elected officials, getting some of this stuff done? And if so, how do you plan on overcoming those hurdles?
Of course, I'm definitely going to get resistance. I'm not shy to it. I'm expecting it. I'm gonna get it, but I'm gonna make it clear. Like I've said from the beginning, it's not about the politics, it's about the people. I'm gonna extend an olive branch. I'm gonna put it out there. Who's on board? We're gonna work together. I'm gonna reach across the aisle. The Democrats, whoever it is, working family, independents, Republicans. We need to do this now. If they want to just give me a simple hard time for doing what is needed, like fixing a road or fixing a dam, or replacing a bridge or whatever, and it's for the betterment of the people, it's going to have to be addressed. We have to let the public know. Like, they're stonewalling this because I have an R next to my name. Don't look at my political background. Don't look at the party I'm affiliated with, because I'm not looking at the party that's affiliated with you. I'm looking at the person and who you're representing. We need to work together because at the end of the day, we were elected for a reason. Well, I'm elected now. Not just Republicans and conservatives. I'm elected now for Democrats, for independents, working families, everybody. So,
Absolutely.
it's whoever voted for me, I'm going to show them that, you know what, they made a good choice. Whoever didn't vote for me, I'm going to make sure to gain your trust and gain your support.
And I have no doubt that you'll do that. You've worked hard, and I think that people will respect hard work. They will respect action if they actually see you doing it, not just talking about it. I think you will win over those who may not be Republicans. Maybe they're Democrats, but at the end of the day, like you said, party line or party should not matter. We look at the individual. That's why I supported you. I liked you a lot, even though you're a Republican. Although I'm not a Democrat either. I'm actually registered as an independent, but I don't, buy into that stuff. And I always said you worked hard, and I know you will continue to work hard. I want to talk about the homeless situation. It's a huge problem. It's ever increasing here in the city of Yonkers. I'm not sure what it's looking like in Bronxville, if that is an issue there, and it could be very well be. You're right. The finger pointing has been done. I've asked some of the elected officials, both on the city and the county side, and they've pointed fingers at each other. You said you would want to get it done. You understand that it's a county problem. How do we solve this problem? Or at least how do we begin to address it?
Well, first of all, New York City alone has been dropping off families to Yonkers and to other cities in Westchester and not been telling us. They're not transparent. So we got to find a way to counteract that. Now, Vernon brought up the idea of actually suing New York City for this to stop them from doing it. Westchester County should look at it as a whole, as a defense, or even a supplement. Like, okay, you're going to drop them off here, at least give us something for it to help it, take care of these people. Then in the long term, we can create programs. Say a building, for instance. We generate the building. We bring in the people, that are off the streets, and we help them. 9 times out of 10, sometimes they fall on it, they just fall flat on luck. Sometimes they have mental illness. We need to help them. We can't pass this off anymore. We can't be shy of this, So we should bring them in under a program where they have counselors on site. They get a room, they get a small TV, food, no guests. This is not a party. But we help you get back on your feet. You got to get a job, you got to get a progress report, you have counselors on site, and we help you transition back into the real world. Like, you know what? You can't look at the dollar signs anymore. You have to look at the person. Growing up as a child, we help these children get on their feet and develop. You know what? Everybody deserves a second chance. Especially if you're a good person, you fell flat, and ran out of luck, or, you lost your job, or, if you have a mental illness, if you want to come in, you want to get help, we should help you. We're your representatives.
Absolutely. And, in order to begin to, impact the homeless problem that we are seeing here in Yonkers, Lower Westchester, you have to factor in the mental health component as well as the drug addiction component. In my experiences in going out to the downtown Yonkers area, I can see that some of the individuals are suffering from mental health and others are suffering from drug addiction. The food that I hand out, the bag lunches, it's a welcome sight. I mean, when they see me pulling up, they already know the car. They come towards the car because they're so hungry. They haven't eaten. They chose to spend whatever little bit of money they had on drugs. So it's definitely something, you would have to incorporate that mental health along with drug addiction counseling in order to kind of, facilitate that transition back into society. But I love the idea. I think it's a great idea. And I definitely would love to see you working on that and see that happen, because I've seen that in other states and I've seen that, it does work. It's not going to save everyone, but it does work. I want to move over really quick to taxes. You mentioned, you want to keep taxes down. I want to tie this into the developments going on here in the city of Yonkers downtown area. The IDA giving tax breaks to the developers, but not hiring local labor. You're also a union guy. The people coming in, a majority of people coming in are from the city. These are renters that are coming in. They're not paying property taxes. Also, the IDA primarily gives tax abatements on property taxes. They have other tax breaks, but they primarily give the property tax breaks. With those tax breaks, with the fact that developers are bringing in people who are not going to be paying property taxes, and then with the potential to increase taxes this coming year, that's a big problem. How do you see on challenging that? And how do you look to impact, the development? Well, at least kind of have some kind of influence in the developments and saying, hey, developers saying, hey, if you guys are going to utilize these tax breaks, we need something in return because we're not getting that tax money, right? The people coming in are not paying property taxes. And on top of that, they're going to increase taxes. So it seems like they're wanting to throw that on to the residents, right? The lack of taxes. What do you say about that? All that.
Well, honestly, from the beginning, I had an idea, and I would like to present it forward because I actually got the idea from the mayor of Peekskill, Andre Rainey. He told me how a developer came in and wanted to build a building. Next to the building was a youth center. They told the developer, okay, well, if you go build up another floor, that youth center is going to get a $50,000 grant. He said, okay, I'll do it. Along with that, they got him to buy in to develop 8 different parks, revitalize them. So I want to say, okay, well, you know what? I want to present the idea of we have all this development coming in, not just in Yonkers, just in general, everywhere in Westchester. Right. We should bring up the idea, okay, you want a tax break? All for it. But in order to get that tax break now, you have to be able to donate a small percentage to the municipality you're building in. And that can go to the school district, repaving roads. That can go to doing parks, a program for the homeless, seniors, children. That small percentage is going to come and be a lot cheaper than the taxes they pay. It's an incentive, but it helps us with the parks and with all the infrastructure needs and everything, the programs, without raising taxes. Give that small incentive, helps us, keeps taxes down, makes them look good. These are the things I want to address and, present. Listen, I know I'm going to get pushback on it. I know I'm going to say, well, you know what, we're not going to do that. And I'm expecting it, but I'm going to go for it. These are things that are critical. We need these programs. We need these parks redone. Yonkers has 45 parks.
Oh, wow.
45 parks. County has a number of parks, golf courses. We have playland, things like that. These are things that, we got to think outside the box. We got to start to strategize more. Okay, well, you know what? We just come out of a 2-year pandemic. Many people lost their jobs. There's still development that's growing. Let's put an incentive on the table and let's see what we get from it. You might be surprised.
Talking about the pandemic and people losing jobs, another thing I mentioned, and you being a union guy, and I had spoken with members of local unions, who are still upset because they're not receiving any work on these developments. Lionsgate, for example, is going into phase 2. They're receiving almost over $7 million in tax breaks. We're talking about the recent Lolo projects that are going to be happening. And local labor is just not coming to the table. How are you, or what can you do as a county legislator? And I know, you have Bronxville, you have Yonkers, but this affects all of Westchester when we talk about local laborers and the developments going up in all of Westchester. I bring up the Yonkers part because that's what was talked about recently, but in all throughout Westchester and developments going up. How do we get local labor jobs? These are local guys. They bring, that money they make, they spend it here locally in the economy here in Westchester. That's how they feed their families. They're getting the tax breaks. How do we get the work for the labor guys?
We got to come to the table. A lot of, just not the unions, the developers, I don't want to sound biased, over unions, but we got to meet in the middle. We got to negotiate. We got to be able to say, well, okay, we're going to get to this point from one side and this point on one side. I am for union work. I also am for develop. I have to take myself out of the equation and think about the residents, what's best for them. I can't just be biased, but I am a union worker. I'm a union supporter. I love my unions. But you know what? I want to see everybody succeed. So we got to come to the table and come to terms. That's where we can bring in PLAs, things like that. But they got to meet us in the middle of the development too. They can't just think about strapping cash all the time and saving dimes and nickel and dime in every way they possible. They have to start thinking like, okay, well, you know what? We could build this building for X amount of dollars. We could spend this amount. Obviously, one part is going to be much more. They want to get their bang for the buck, though. But we have to look at the quality of work unions bring.
Right.
The quality of work, 9 times out of 10, it doesn't happen all the time. A union job finishes on time or before schedule or on budget. Now, I understand where they're coming from, the developers, that they want to save money. But that's where you got to start to come to terms. Got to meet in the middle.
Right.
And, a lot of development is going on. And especially there has to be a boom that's coming. And I'm not for going out of state to bring in workers because I feel like we need to help our workers here and our members here to lower unemployment, help the economy grow once again, and keep the money here. So I want to be able to be a part of those meetings to bring people together, It can't just be one sided. It has to be in the middle, but it has to be in the best interest of the people.
Absolutely, and that's always number one. The people are the most important, and we talk about jobs, and and I do understand that it's all about the quality of work. Unions technically or traditionally they'll do better work. They'll finish on time or before schedule, but also the employment. Right, you're bringing in these apartments that are expensive, and if local labor are not getting jobs or people are not getting the jobs here in Westchester, Yonkers, Bronxville, how are they going to afford these apartments that are coming in, right?
Yeah.
So there definitely has to be a balance. I want to go over to education really quick before we wrap things up. You are work in the schools district here in Yonkers. You also represent all of Bronxville as well. I know, you can see that there may be a difference in the school systems, right? Bronxville school system versus Yonkers public school systems. How do we get Yonkers public school system to be equal or compare equally in terms of conditions, overall conditions, quality, whether it be the educational quality or the quality of the buildings, the infrastructure?
Well, Bronxville has a much smaller school district than Yonkers. I think Yonkers has 44 schools compared to maybe a couple, two, maybe three in Bronxville. So the population is a lot bigger here, but the necessary concerns of infrastructure is always important, especially education for kids. So we have to look at, like I said, I think Yonkers Public Schools has nearly 30,000 kids, and then Bronxville has nowhere near that.
Right.
I'm not sure about the exact number. So we have to look at their infrastructure and what they're doing compared to ours. But just because they're doing one thing over there doesn't mean it's going to necessarily work on the opposite side. So we have to monitor their whole curriculum, how they try and get across the things. And also, we need to make sure that we provide programs once again. The programs are being strapped, they're being limited. And you know what? It's becoming a lot harder, not just for, the parents and especially the students, but the teachers. The teachers are on a lot of stress and pressure. So we have to try and not tell them this is what you're going to get. We have to start asking, what do you need to succeed? But not just the teachers, the staff, the principals. We have to start asking the students. We have to start, looking at them instead of a dollar, and so look at them as the people they are.
Right.
So we have to make sure that they are becoming the best of the best. And then when they leave Yonkers Public Schools, they're proud to say it, because I'm proud to say it. My family, I know a bunch of people are, and there's a lot of smart kids in Yonkers Public School. I see it firsthand.
Absolutely.
And you know what? Like when I go through my scholarship applications, reading what these kids have gone through and how hard they worked and seeing their grade is very impressive.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of getting in touch with them directly. It has to be more about them instead of just results. It has to be about them. And we need to be more hands-on, but also encourage the parents. The parents are a big part.
Absolutely.
Help, get to these parents like, hey, this is who I am in your child's life. I am the teacher. You're the parent. You see it firsthand. If you see that something is off, I want you to come to me. So it has to be a mutual bond.
Right.
And, like I said, Bronx was a little bit smaller. They were very close-knit. They're very close. They have a lot of programs that succeed over there. So, sometimes maybe it's not a bad idea to have one-on-one together and compare notes.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea.
It might not help for you, but this is what could help you, and vice versa. It's about relationships and helping them grow together, because literally Yonkers is neighbors with Bronxville.
Yes, absolutely.
So we should help each other. We're all in the same community. You literally go a mile away from my house. You go right in. No, I'm sorry, a little more than a mile, but you go about 15, 20 minutes from my house. You're right in Bronxville. You're right in the heart of it.
Absolutely.
Let's start comparing. Because
absolutely,
who's to say people from Bronxville are not going to move to Yonkers, or vice versa? Yonkers people are going to move to Bronxville. Let's intertwine that.
People aspire to move to Bronxville.
Yeah.
You represent the entire Bronxville community. What do you see as some of the issues when we speaking just of Bronxville? that you look to address for the community there and your constituents there in Bronxville?
Well, affordability, they're becoming more concerned with it. A lot of people have brought to my attention affordability. Property taxes going up. They also want to know where their property taxes are going, and they have every right to know that. Also, they're small businesses, so they're nervous. We're going through an unprecedented time where we've never gone through this like this before. So we should make sure that they succeed on every level, but also we should make sure that we welcome new businesses into there to help them flourish and keep it going. And like I said, their concerns of like infrastructure and affordability, and just making sure that they get everything that they could possibly get. Can't make everybody happy, but these are things that they want to hear about. They have a big issue with flooding. I want to, and I will do everything in my power to address that with flooding, because they're a great village, just like Yonkers is a great city. I want to give them every bit of myself to address it. It's been an issue for a long time now, and I want to make sure that I can help them any type of way, because I remember driving through Bronxville. I remember driving through Yonkers right after Ira, and I seen the front of the houses piled up with garbage, throwing out couches. Nobody should have to worry about that. I know it's a stress, but we as elected officials should do what we can to help prevent them from going through any of the stresses. So there's something that could be done to help them not be worried about their houses being flooded out or losing their life or their car. We should give that to them. We should owe that to them. We should work for that.
Absolutely.
And
there's still some people going through it. I recently saw a news news clipping or clip, whatever, from News 12 of a family in Southeast Yonkers who so many, weeks after, toward the end of October, they were still out of their homes, actually was condemned. They only got $22,000 from FEMA, but the contractors that they brought in to make assessments told them it was going to be about 10 times that, about $220,000 just to get them back. She's the homeowner's a nurse, and she works at St. John's, I believe, and she's just, doesn't know what to do. And they've said that it's an issue with the sewer systems also. The sewers, are there also a problem, or is it the Bronx River, where we talk about Bronxville and the flooding? What is it? What's causing the flooding or the problems with flooding in Bronxville?
Well, it's years of neglect. It's years of not being addressed. There's a degrudging that needs to take place in the Bronx River that I want to present. And I'm going to make sure I do everything I possibly can to make sure that happens. Because you're going to scrape out the bottom of the, the dirt and everything like that. So when it floods, the water doesn't overflow. It stays. Right. Then, we can look into new drainage systems. We can go to the people that are experts with this. So, okay, what's it going to take for this to be fixed? What's it going to take for this to not happen again? So we have to, look at it from that standpoint and go about it there, because these people shouldn't be losing their homes because of things that have been neglected for so long. We have to do what we can to prevent that from happening. A lot of these people pay a great amount of taxes.
Yeah.
They want what they want. And listen, you can't give everybody one. You can't make everybody happy. But if you can get to that and say, like, okay, well, you know what? We did the degrudging, especially with the big infrastructure deal that is just signed. It's history making. Let's put it to use. I would like to also present and put up a board for this infrastructure money to make sure it's allocated and spent the right way.
That's a great idea.
We can have the leaders from both parties, which I am now the minority whip of the Republican Party.
Oh, really?
Yes. And the minority leader and the majority leader and the majority whip. And we can have someone from the county executive board, but then we have someone from the municipalities. And we represent, and we come together. We work together, because that's what it's about. It's not about parties. It's not about one side agenda. It's about doing what is needed to make sure that all communities flourish. So I would like to present that and bring that up. I have many great ideas. I'm not going to put them up right now because it's budget time, so I don't want nobody trying to take credit for anything.
Yeah, but you have to. I've learned that.
Said and done, you're going to see me more. You're going to get to the point like, damn, this guy's out there a lot. I'm going to be out there.
No, I think that's a good thing. I mean, I think that's a great thing. If you're an elected official, you should be out there. We want to see you out there, right? As much as possible, doing as much as you can. And I think that's what's going to show you to be a great elected official. I like the idea of having, I guess a panel to review where the money's being allocated, all this money coming down from the federal government. That's a great idea. It definitely needs to be audited. You need to have someone or some people have with eyes on it. I don't think that's going to go over well with a lot of people there and some of the elected officials. But it's definitely necessary.
Yeah, the idea for the panel is to make sure that we have input from the municipalities, from the elected officials that are on the county board, the state. Like, we could say Scarsdale has a need for infrastructure only, but Bronxville does too. Let's make sure that amount of dollars and this amount of dollars and Yonkers amount of dollars is all spent the way it should be. Like, I also know that there's a dam in Mount Vernon that's, it's very poor. It's very old too.
Yes.
So these are things that need to address, because we have to start looking at everything and spending everything correctly. I'm not saying that there is misspending. There might be. We have to look further into that. But this panel will be able to give a voice to every individual municipality, or not every individual municipality, because there's some that can handle their own, but the bigger ones. And then we can also open up the floor to discussion to the public with the panel. So we can sit there and say, okay, well, you know what? We have a public forum. We're here for you. We want to hear your concerns. We want to hear your voices. What street are you concerned about? If it's not a county road, how can we help the city address it? Right. How can we help it address the failing underpass or a bridge, the sidewalk that's crumbling, the highway that's being neglected? I think it's a 2-year phase of the money. We're not going to get this opportunity again. So if we're going to get it now and next year or the year after, let's use it so we don't have to get to this point again.
Absolutely.
Like, listen, I'm going to be very vocal about it.
And I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that, because that's one of the things, I'll be honest, that I just kind of seeing what's going on, specifically in Yonkers, but here in Westchester, the money that's being spent, the tax breaks that are being given to developers and stuff. And I'm just like, where, all this money going? They'd say that these developers are going to bring in all this revenue, and these different projects are supposed to bring in revenue. Yet we still seem to be falling short every year when it comes to the budget. New York State has audited Yonkers specifically, and one of the key findings is that they rely too much on federal funding, and they
also with that. And I'm sorry I cut you off.
Oh, go ahead.
Yonkers has a big pension and personnel, so
yes.
that comes with a growing population. So
right.
Looking at New York City compared to us, New York City's population is a lot bigger, but their workforce is a lot bigger. So that's how it comes. Like, Mount Vernon's is smaller than us, so their workforce is going to be small. So that's what comes, and that's where a lot of the federal money comes. We depend on it because we have a big city. We have the third biggest city in all of New York now. That is a great thing, but it comes with a cost. So that's why the number keeps growing. So it's not like they're misspending. It's just affordability goes up every single year, and especially this year. After everything that has transpired, it's going to go up more. So next year's budget is going to be, if the same, maybe a little bit more. But, it's not because they're misspending. It's just because it's just coming with the way of life now. Inflation.
Right. No, and it's I don't know if the audit was necessarily indicating that they were misspending, but just saying that they should try to rely less. And with the projects and all this revenue that some of these developers are supposed to be bringing in, or they're selling it to the people of the city, that they're going to bring in all this revenue. We like to see where that money is going, because there's, like you said, there's a lot of areas that need fixing, a lot of the infrastructure, schools, potholes, bridges. So it would be great to have some oversight on how this money is being allocated. I think that's a great idea. Everything you said there sounds are the words of a leader, a true leader, someone that wants to get things done, someone that's truly, genuinely wanting to resolve issues, not just talking points, and looking to advance in their career. And again, like I said, I know people that also know you personally. Everyone has the same sentiment. They were trying to convince me about you, and I said, you don't have to convince me. I've spoken to him plenty of times enough to know who he really is, and I get a great vibe from you, James, and I appreciate what you're doing. And I'm glad to see you in the position that you're in. You're a breath of fresh air. And I
I
truly
appreciate
mean
it.
that. You're a breath of fresh air, and I can't wait to see what you get done. I'm going to be cheering for you all the way
Thank you.
through, and till the next election where you will get reelected. I know you will.
Appreciate it.
Before I let you go, is there anything you'd like to say to the people of Bronxville, the people of Yonkers, the people of Westchester, your constituents, now that you have been elected to represent District 15 and all of Westchester County?
Well, I would like to say thank you. I would like to say thank you to everybody who believed in me, helped me make this possible. All the voters. If you didn't vote for me, I look to gain your trust. I look to gain your support. I look to work with you. I work for you now. It's not the other way around. I work for you. During this term, if that's how you want to put it, I'm going to be going door to door still. It's not going to be campaigning to ask the constituents, what can I do to help you? What can I do to help you and your family? What concerns you have? I will promise only I will work tirelessly. I will give my undivided attention, but I'm not going to promise I'm going to fix this, I'm going to fix that, I'm going to fix this. I will do every attempt that I can to address the situation, fix the problem. But if I promise the world, it's not going to be realistic. Just going to be smoke and mirrors. Unfortunately, like some of them. I look to not be like the rest, some of them. I want to help. So if I could help do something for somebody, I'm going to do it. And, if I can't do something, I'm going to be transparent. I can't do this. It's not possible. This is why. Let's look back at this later on at a different time. If I can do something, I'm going to tell you, I can get this done. You're going to have full transparency with me. I'm going to be working for you every step of the way. I'm going to do what's best interest of the residents. There's no personal agendas attached. I'm going to be gracious. I'm going to be welcoming. I'm going to be warming. Something that many people can't do and won't do that's been treated. There's some mess that has to be cleaned up for the last couple of years. And I'm going to give a different vibe. I'm going to give a different, culture to this. I'm going to be out there. Like I said, I'm going to come in suits sometimes, and sometimes I'm just going to show up in my work pants and my boots because that's who I am. And also because I got to go run around all the time, but it's worth it. And but I look forward to this venture, and I look forward to working with many. I look forward to gaining the trust of many. And this is for the community that I've grown up in, I lived in my whole life, that I want to raise a family in. And this is for the home that I love. I gave every bit of myself, and I'm going to continue to do that.
James Nolan, Westchester County Legislator, District 15 elect. You heard him, ladies and gentlemen, tonight. This is the third time that he's appearing on the show. This time it was different. Tonight you are coming on as the elected county legislator for District 15. You said a lot of great things tonight. I believe it. I do believe it. You've already proven it. You've already been working hard. I know you will continue to work hard. Again, like I said, you're a breath of fresh air. Go get him. Go Definitely. Get him. Go kick some. Definitely. I don't have a bleeper thing, so I'm not gonna. But I know you will do a good job, and I can't wait. And I look forward to seeing it, man. And again, congratulations on your win. Well deserved. Best of luck with everything, Jimmy Nolan. Again, Westchester County Legislator elect for District 15.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. Tell the family I said hello. Wish them the best for me. You have a beautiful family, big family there that are very supportive, I know. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. I'm sure you're going to have a great time tomorrow. Take care and enjoy. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Have a good night. That was James Nolan, Westchester County Legislator, District 15 elect. He won early this month, beating out the incumbent Ruth Walters. Most of the county legislator races were uneventful. However, that one had a little bit of controversy, had a little bit of noise there, but it went the way it should have. James Nolan is great. He's been working hard in the community. He's proven that he's going to get things done because he has it ready. I look forward to seeing what he's going to do now as officially an elected official. I'm Freddy Vazquez. Thank you for joining Basement Politics tonight. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving, and I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. May you have a blessed day. May you spend it with those that you love. I'll be back this weekend on Sunday for another episode of Basement Politics Unfiltered. Freddy Vazquez, Basement Politics. Thank you. Have a great night, everyone.
Thank you for watching Basement Politics with my husband, Freddy Vazquez.